Good morning. The other day when we spoke, we had talked about God made you in a unique way, and it was part one. Today I want to continue with part two. And the first part was out of Genesis 1, where God uniquely made man from the dust of the earth, and then how he made woman from the rib of man to be his helpmeet or his mate, to be his helper, and how God made them so that they could come together as one, as husband and wife, and are able to conceive and replenish the earth with children and more people. So today I want to read from Psalm 139, verses 13 through 18. And I know you're familiar with it, but it talks about just how uniquely God created us in the womb. And verse 13, it says, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb." Now here it's telling God created each person, each one of us, individually, in his or her mother's womb, to be distinct, a distinct individual with qualities that no one else is exactly like you. I mean, how unique is that? And we were created in the inmost being, which in the Hebrew means kidneys or an essential organ. Okay, so he gave us what was essential to be born, to grow, to be a person. And when it says knit, it means to form, to join, to cause to grow together. So God knit us together in our mother's womb to bring us together, join our parts together so that we would be a human being. Now, verse 14, says, "I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well." So, verse 14, fearfully. In the Hebrew, it means to revere, otherwise feel deep respect or admiration for. God had deep respect for who he was creating in the mother's womb. You were admired by God. He fearfully and wonderfully made you. Unborn babies are important to God. He put them in the womb for a reason. And then verse 15 says, "My frame," or my substance, "was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth." So that's verse 15. So frame or substance means in Hebrew, hence body, strong, power. So God is making our frame the way it needs to be. He's giving us strength. And then secret place in the Hebrew means covering, a hiding place, protection. He placed us in the womb of our mothers for protection. We were supposed to be safe in the womb of our mothers while we were growing into the person God was creating us to be. In the depths of the earth, its meaning is in the dark and hidden from human view until fully developed. Okay? We were in there being developed until it was time for us to be born. And then in verse 16 it says, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. So our unformed body, okay, was in the womb when we had no shape. We were just the embryo at that time. When we were without form. But it was visible to God how every part of us would be. He could visibly see us, even from the time we were implanted in the womb of our mothers. He knew what color eyes we were going to have, what kind of hair. He knew what our characters were going to be, what our gifts from Him were, what our talents. He knew all of that. And when it says, ordained for me, God knew everything about our lives in advance. He knew from the beginning, when we were implanted in the womb, to the day that we leave this earthly body. And then verse 17 and 18. How precious to me, otherwise how concerning, how precious to me are your thoughts, O God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. So what is he saying? He's saying how precious. In the Hebrew, that means that we are valuable to God. We are a prized possession of His. And then vast thoughts. So vast thoughts. He had such thoughts of us that He thinks of us more than all the sand of the sea, and you can't even begin to count that. Understand you are uniquely made. Oh, and also, it talks about that, when it talks about, let's see here, back in 16 when it says, were written in your book, that means that in the Hebrew, that it was like He was writing out in a book, designing you. He designed you the way you are. Everything about you. You know, we may complain about ourselves, but we're complaining against what God intended for us. He had a purpose. He had a plan. And He made us the way He did for a purpose. And He was excited about it. He's excited about you. He's excited about that baby that you might be carrying. He has a purpose and a plan. He didn't do this by accident. We weren't an accident. Not a one of us. God planned us. So please just understand how unique each and every one of us are made. That no two of us are alike. Thank you, and God bless you, and think about that.